you, but I am in much need of a feel-good flow today. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. All you're gonna need is a mat. Everything's meant to feel good, so anytime something's feeling not quite right for you, just make an adjustment, listen to your body, work with what works for your body, and we'll get started here on the mat today, lying down on our back. Just nice and long here, so legs out straight, and then arms can rest right by your side. All you're gonna do is take a couple nice deep breaths. If you want to, you can bring your hands to your belly here so you can really feel those ribs and hips opening as you take that big inhale through the nose, filling up. And then that big exhale through the mouth, everything knitting back in together. Big inhale to fill up, ribs expand right to left. Exhaling to blow it all out. 2 more big breaths like this, in through the nose, out through the mouth. 1 more. We're going to take a nice full body stretch. You'll reach the arms long alongside the ears back behind you. You're just going to reach the toes and the fingertips in 2 directions here. Feel as long, feel as tall as you possibly can. Maybe those ribs are lifting up away from the hips, away from the pelvis. Shoulders are in the ears here. As much space as you possibly can. Just stretching, 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 decompressing the spine. And then you're going to bend one knee in towards the chest. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to take my right knee and just wrap my hands right underneath my knee on my shin here. Gently pull it towards you, but don't force it. Nice hip opener here from the front to the back. You should feel that hip opening wide. It's okay if that right hip kind of hikes up towards the right ribs on this one here. Breathing your breath into that hip. And then all you're going to do is start drawing a teeny little circle. So you'll just press the shin into your hand to draw that circle. Finding that opening, but you'll also start to feel some strength surrounding your thigh area, top of the thigh area, I should say. And then just use your core for support. Don't let the low back get into it. The circle's with your knee, it's not with your ankle or your foot, so just be aware. I know sometimes we kind of get lost in the moment. And then reversing the direction of that circle. So just drawing your circle in the opposite direction. Feels real good to open up that hip, especially if you did any of our peach workouts this week. 2 more on this side. You're just going to hug that knee all the way in. You're going to take the opposite hand. So in my case, it's the left hand to bring it to the outside of my knee. And I'm just going to twist all the way over to the left. You might open your right hand out towards the side here. Look at the right fingertips. It'll help keep your shoulders down. And then you're using your hand for gravity to stretch more, twist more, but don't force it here. You want to breathe more breath from the opposite rib to the opposite hip. Each time you inhale, let go of any tension in your foot and your glute, in your neck and your jaw maybe. And then on your next breath, you'll just bring that knee right back in towards center. Give it 1 more little hug, and then slide that foot all the way back down for the ground. Same thing on the other side. Full body stretch first. Hugging that left knee all the way in when you're ready. Both sides might be different, so just listen to your body. Hips are usually different in their flexibility on both sides. Just like on that twist, it's gravity. You're not yanking it towards you, but you are letting gravity stretch you a little further. Each time you inhale, think about sending your oxygen into that hip. It'll help you stretch a little further. Just start to open up those muscles. And then when you're ready, you're going to draw a little circle with the knee. Your belly button in towards your spine just helps protect the low back, takes the low back out of it. The circle's coming from your knee and your hip. Thigh bone drawing that circle in your hip. Find that opening. Feel the freedom in your range of motion. You can make it as small or as large as you want to. And then I'm just going to change directions of my circle. One direction might feel more supported than the other. On this one, for me, especially the turnout feels a lot more fluid. So sometimes some starting and stopping points. Relax here as much as you can so you don't have tension in that shin and the thigh. And then when you're ready, you'll just find stillness. Opposite hand comes to the outside of your knee, and you just press that knee over to that opposite side, taking your twist. You can reach the other arm out like a T and look at those fingertips. And then again, try to relax your glute. Try to relax your foot, keeping both shoulders as grounded as they can be. Your hip obviously has lifted to give you that nice twist shape. And then you'll come back to center, hugging that knee 1 inch closer towards you and taking that nice big full body stretch as you slide it out and away. Breathe here, 2 big breaths in this stretch. Next, inhale, fill up. On the exhale, can you have both knees in towards the chest this time, bringing both knees in. Once both knees are in, you're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, you're just going to curl your forehead up towards your knees. They don't have to meet. And then you'll just inhale to set the shoulders, neck, and head back down. Exhaling to curl it up, finding some roundness in that cervical spine, and then inhaling to lower it down. So just stretching the back of the neck here, starting to feel those ribs and those hips connect. Can you take the tension out of your arms and send it into your core here? We're going to do 2 more of these. Beautiful. On the last one, you're going to hold your head up. You're going to press the shins and the hands in towards one another, and then you'll just start to roll forward and back on your spine. Keeping the engagement in your core, try to keep this round shape. Make sure the head stays nodded. You don't want to go into the neck. Nice little spine massage here. You'll start to make it larger and larger. And then the end goal is that you just sit all the way up nice and tall. As you get there, no rush. Use your breath. And then once you're sitting all the way up, you can come crisscross legs and give those shoulders a nice roll back. We're going to make our way onto all fours here. So hands and knees. Wrists are right under those shoulders and knees are right under those hips. You know this quadruped position well. Find that activity in your center. Pull the belly out of gravity, but keep the spine nice and neutral here to start. Your neck is nice and long. Let's go ahead and drop it right into our cat-cow. So you'll breathe in to drop the belly, send the tailbone and the head up towards the sky, heart through the shoulder blades. And then breathe out to fold, looking between those knees, pulling the back of the belly button up as high towards the sky as you can, pressing away with those hands. Inhaling to open up the front half of your body. Exhaling to open up the back half of your body. Move as slow or as quickly as you want to here in this cat-cow. Can you think about the spine moving one bone at a time? So each and every vertebra has its own chance to fold or unfold. The breath is super important here. Breathe in, drop the belly, more space between the ribs and the hips. Allows those lungs to fully expand. And then breathing out is going to connect you to that diaphragm. Scoop the belly button up to give you that space in the back half of the body. Beautiful. Let's do 2 more of these. Really finding that stretch. And then after your last set of this cat-cow, you'll just relax into your neutral spine. So back in your neutral spine here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left foot and I'm going to send it all the way forward outside of my left hand here. So it's even wider than my mat. I'm just going to wiggle my right knee back a tad until I feel this nice stretch in my inner thigh on that left side. You're also opening up your hip flexor here on the right side in this what we call lizard lunge shape. If you're good here, you may come down to the forearms, but just know that that's not mandatory. You can also stay up on 2 long arms here. Sink it into the stretch. Try to take the pressure out of your knee on the back side, so ideally your thigh is there connected to the mat. And then all I'm going to do is heel toe my left foot in so that my left hand comes to the outside of my left foot. So now my left foot is right in center of both my 2 long arms. Lean forward an inch further, find that stretch in those hips. I'm going to straighten my front knee, my left knee. I'm going to kick those toes up towards the sky and then just send my hips right over top of that right knee. So now you should feel the stretch in the back of that left thigh. Your torso is still leaning forward here. It's just allowing you to stretch a little bit more. And then try to relax just above that left knee as you curl the head down towards that leg. Nice little runner stretch here. Breathing into it. To come out, I'm first going to drop my foot down, roll through it, bend that front knee, my left knee. Hands are going to ground. Wiggle that left toe to the outside of the left hand, and then bring that knee all the way back to all fours here. So you want to come back to that starting position. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. So I'm taking my right foot all the way to the outside of the mat, outside that right hand. Maybe to feel more opening, I take my left knee back a little further. I don't have to. I either stay with 2 long arms, feeling this inner thigh, this hip stretch, or I try to come down to my forearms here, feeling it even deeper. You're listening to what works for your body, so forearms aren't mandatory. You can always stick with 2 straight arms here as you take this stretch. Really try to bring that right knee right over top of the ankle. You might also use that right shoulder elbow to try to kind of press out that knee, opening you up even more. Try to stay relaxed in your neck and your shoulders. And I'm just going to heel toe that right foot in, bringing my hand outside that right foot. And then once it's about at center, I'm going to try to lean forward an inch further. Taking that nice stretch. And then straightening the right leg, kicking those toes up towards the ceiling, walking my hands back a little bit so that my seat is over that left knee, relaxing in front of my right knee, and then diving my forehead down towards that right side. Stretching the whole back of the leg on that right side. The flex of the foot just helps you get that a little bit more. Breathe your breath into the back of your leg. I promise it will help you relax, stretch better. And you're just going to roll through that right foot, start to come back forward into your little low lunge. Once you're at that low lunge, you're going to heel toe the right foot out wide to your lizard lunge. And then once you're there in that lizard lunge, you're going to bring the right foot all the way back so that both knees are under your hips here. Beautiful. Once you're back to kneeling, I'm just going to turn to face you. You're going to sit back on those heels. Stay kneeling. If this position is not comfortable for you, you can also go high up on the knees. So either high up on the knees or down low on the knees, whatever works. You just want to square off your torso as much as you can. Take a big breath here. Reach the hands all the way up overhead. And then breathe out, bring the shoulders down away from the ears as the hands come back down. 2 more breaths like that. Breathe in, reach up high. Breathe out, hands down towards the sides. Beautiful. Breathe in, reach up as high as you can. Space in the torso. Breathe out, bring them down. This time you're going to breathe in, you're going to leave the hands up high towards the sky. Filling up with as much air as possible. And then go ahead and grab your left wrist with your right hand, little side bend over to the right. So more space in the left side of the torso. You're growing taller as you reach up and over. One more breath in. You'll come back up nice and high towards the sky. And then do the same thing on the other side. As much space as you can create between the ribs and the hips before you take your side bend. We'll do one more on each side. Grow tall, grab opposite wrist, pulling it gently up and over. Try to keep the hips steady. It's coming from the upper portion of your spine. Grow nice and tall. Grab that wrist and tip up on over. Beautiful. Come back square. Hands are going to drop here. I'm going to turn so I've got my long length of my mat. Toes are going to kiss. Knees are going to go out nice and wide, about as wide as the mat. Sit the hips as far back towards the heels as you can. And then reach the arms as far forward on the mat as you can. So hips and fingertips reaching long in opposite directions. Your arms are active here, not relaxed. And you're pressing the heart down, those hips back. Opening up those inner thighs a whole lot. We're going to take a little twist, what's called thread the needle. My right hand is going to slide underneath my left arm here, this little hole I've created. I'm going to look at my right fingertips, taking this nice twist. Now notice if the hips are trying to go with you. Try to keep the hips anchored. Try to keep that pressure in the left hand. And then rolling as much as you can onto the back of that right shoulder to open up the back of those shoulders here. So this one should feel good in the shoulders. It should also feel good in that right inner thigh hip area, particularly, but both hips. Definitely feeling it. One more breath. You'll come back to center and we'll do the same thing on the other side. On this twist especially, you want to find your breath, your inhale, going into the backs of those ribs. Opening as much as you can across the back of the shoulders. Stretching, freeing up those posture muscles that keep us standing up nice and tall. Always letting this feel good, not forcing it. And then we'll come back to center and slowly walk our hands towards our torso and slowly roll ourselves on up. Beautiful. Stay on your knees here. You're just going to wiggle a little bit forward so that there's space behind you on the mat here. You're going to come high up on those knees and you're squeezing your glutes for your hips to press forward here. You're going to come into what's called a camel stretch. Slow with control. Protect your neck here. You're going to bring one hand back towards the heel of your foot. This is where you really need to protect the neck. Other hand is going to come towards the other heel of my foot. So I'm pressing my belly and my hips forward, squeezing my glutes. I'm starting looking forward. If you can, you're going to drop the head back behind you here, really opening up the heart. Pulling the belly button towards the spine. Now, if this stretch is too much for you, I'm just going to give you a modification. You can stay in that stretch, absolutely. If you need the modification, your hands are coming right behind the seat. You're pressing the hips forward using the hands, trying to narrow off the elbows, and then sending the belly forward and maybe dropping that head. Breathe here for 3 more breaths. Nod the chin towards the chest. And then you'll restack nice and vertical. Once you're vertical, drop the shoulders, roll the shoulders back. We're going to make our way to sitting here. You want to sit towards the front edge of your mat with your knees bent in towards you. Kind of like you're in that little ball shape that we did earlier, but this time you're going to grab underneath the knees for the backs of those thighs on both sides. Elbows out nice and wide. Sit up as tall as you can here. Feel a nice, proud, open chest. And take one big breath. We're going to take this into our half roll back. You'll breathe in to prepare. On the breath out, you tuck the tailbone under, start to lean back until those arms go straight. That's how you know you're in the proper place. Your ribs and your hips are locked together. Your belly button is round towards the mat behind you. And then you'll just sit back up nice and tall. Exhale to roll back, and then inhaling to sit back up. First, we're just creating some articulation in the spine. So kind of similar to the concept of that cat-cow, but this time you're just going from the round spine to a straight spine. We'll do 2 more of these. Beautiful. Next one, you're going to hold yourself back there. Really activate the core. Both arms are going to reach straight out in front of you like Frankenstein. Still hanging on to that core. Find your activation in your center. Your left arm's going to open up towards the side like a T. Notice what happens to your core, your center. Bring it back in front of you. Right arm's going to open up. Notice what happens to your core, your center. Bring it right back in front of you. Try to keep yourself square. Both arms are going to open. Really scoop your core. Try to stay out of the hip flexors. You're going to hold here for a 4, for a 3, for a 2, and for 1. Sit up nice and tall. Relax the arms and take a breath. Beautiful. This time we're going to take our full roll back here. Your arms are going to start straight out in front of the shoulders like they just were a minute ago. You'll take a breath in. On the breath out, you're going to roll back. Where you just were, pause, find your core. Keep your core as engaged as you possibly can. You're going to keep rolling back. 1 bone at a time is going to connect to the mat. When you can't hang on to the core any longer, you drop the head all the way back. Reach the arms behind you. Nice full stretch here in that upper body. Now take an inhale. On the exhale, the hands are going to travel right above the shoulders. You're going to nod the chin towards the chest. You're going to use the arms to reach all the way up in front of the shoulders and then sit up nice and tall. You'll exhale to roll back, lean back. Keep on rolling back till you can't hang on any longer. And then send the arms all the way back behind the head. Taking an inhale. Exhale, hands travel up. Head nods. Reach with the fingertips. 1 bone at a time. Lifts away. And then you sit back up at the top. If you need to, you can use the hands behind the thighs here to lift you, to prop you all the way up. It's absolutely fine. So I'll show you what that would look like. The hands come up. The head nods. You reach behind the thighs as you curl up. And then you use the arms to lift you all the way up. So that's always your option. Rolling back, feeling nice and tall, feeling nice and long. And then rolling all the way up. We're going to do 1 more of these. You're just going to roll back and then you're going to stay back, lying down on the mat here. Arms come behind you, nice big stretch. And then you can set them right down by your sides when you're ready. You're going to bring those feet a little bit closer in towards your seat here. So about where the fingertips might be able to tap those heels. Once you're here in this position, we're going to articulate into our bridge. Try to keep your neck long. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull the belly button down. Squeeze the glutes. Peel up and away 1 bone at a time using the backs of those thighs. Try to keep the rib cage down and closed. You've got a nice long line from the ribs to the hips over the knees. You're scooping the belly button in, the pubic bone up, and then you're going to roll right back on down 1 bone at a time. Once the glutes hit, there's your chance to relax back to neutral. You'll pull the belly button down, squeeze the glutes, lift from the backs of the thighs. The back half of your body is supporting you as the front half of your body gets nice and long, nice and stretched. You'll then lower down 1 bone at a time, pulling the belly button down, scooping the core even more, and then setting the tailbone down at that last second. We're going to do 1 more like this, articulating through the spine, squeezing those glutes to lift up nice and high with those hips. And then setting your spine down, creating more space, aiming for a straight line. And then finally relaxing the seat at the bottom. We're going to do a neutral bridge this time. So all that means is you keep your spine neutral. You're going to try to lift the glutes and the hips. The spine stays in one piece as you lift, strengthening across the muscles of the low back here as opposed to stretching. Maintain your neutral at the top. And then slowly lower down. Stay in that nice long line of your spine. Allowing blood flow, circulation to bump up here, sending the hips higher than the heart. Good. Next time you're up there, you're going to hold yourself up there. Really squeeze those glutes. See if you can bring the elbows underneath you, and then you're going to bring the hands underneath the low back. You're pressing your heart up so that your heart is towards your chin here, and you're finding what's called a high bridge. So lifted higher than you would be able to without those hands. We're just holding this position here, opening up as much as we can in the front surface of the body. Squeeze those glutes. Don't forget about the backs of the thighs. Slowly with control, the hands are going to come back down by your sides. Your heart is going to drop lower than the hips, and then you're going to set yourself down in one piece, relaxing the glutes at the bottom. Gorgeous. Let's stretch the right leg straight up towards the sky. You're just going to reach behind it, and then maybe flex the foot here to find more length in the back of your thigh, in your hamstring. Relaxing in front of and behind the knee as much as you can. Send the shoulders out of the ears. Boy, did I need that cue. And then we'll just do the same stretch on the other side. So left leg is unfolding straight up towards the sky. Flexing in the foot. Grabbing behind the leg wherever you can. And just pull it towards you. So you're aiming for length in the back of the leg. Driving the heel up and the tailbone down is going to give you more of that length. You just set that foot down and take a nice breath here down on the mat before we come into our next variation of inversion. Just going to do one inversion here, so don't worry. You're going to pull the belly button all the way down towards the spine. You're in imprint here. Once you're in imprint, pick up one leg at a time towards tabletop. And then once those legs are in tabletop, swoop the core as much as you possibly can. Press into those hands. You're going to start to lift the hips. Use the hands. Those knees will come about right over your eyes. And then once they're there, you're just going to hold on right behind the seat, right behind the hips. So you're in this little ball shape, finding as much space as you can between your vertebra. You're pulling your belly button as much as you can in towards your spine here. You might just pause here. If you're going deeper into the inversion, you'll just follow me. So you may start to unfold both legs straight up towards the sky. Use your core to reach them as high as they can go towards the ceiling, keeping your neck nice and long here, the weight's in your shoulders. You're going to drop one foot all the way down towards the ground, back behind you. In this case, it's my right toe. Stretching there. Both legs going in opposite directions. You'll come back up towards the ceiling and drop the other leg down, reaching long, long, long. Letting that blood flow happen. Maybe you stick with two straight legs up towards the sky. We're going to do one more on each side. Dropping it down, find your core, find that lift. Finding the stretch as much as you can in the back body. Both legs are going to come back up towards the sky. See if you can reach them 2 inches further up, little candlestick. You're going to tuck the knees all the way in towards the forehead. Create your little ball shape. Round in the low back. And then the hands are going to come down next to you. And then you're going to use the arms for stability as one bone at a time rolls back down for the ground. Once that tailbone hits, you're going to hug the knees in towards the chest. And then once both knees are in towards the chest, open your arms like a T. Send both knees over to the left. Try to keep them glued together. Shoulders stay down. Maybe look over that right shoulder to keep those shoulders down. As you breathe here, create as much space from that left rib, from the left hip to the right rib as you possibly can. Taking out any tension that may have built up in that last exercise in particular. So good for us, but takes so much out of us. You're going to bring the knees back up to center. Hug them in towards the chest first. And then open the arms to the T. And send both knees over to the right, looking over that left shoulder. So both shoulders stay down here. Inner thighs are glued together as much as they can be. Breathe your breath between that right hip and that left rib. You're going to come all the way back up to center. Hug those knees all the way in towards the chest. And then we're slowly going to make our way up to sitting. So you may roll over onto one side here and then press yourself up to a seated position. However you want to is just fine. Coming into a butterfly shape of the legs here. So soles of the feet are kissing. Knees are out wide. Feet don't have to be super close in towards your inner thighs. So they can be out or they can be closer. It's up to you. I want you to hold on to your ankles with your hands here. Once you've got those ankles, can you lift the ankles up? So actively pull up. And then you're going to bend your elbows, dive your chest forward, and press the elbows down as you pull the hands up. So you're opening up your hips even more. Your chest is long, so you're trying to aim your chin all the way for the opposite side of those toes. And you're feeling the stretch in all kinds of ways in those inner thighs, in those hips, keeping your low body as relaxed as you can. Take one more inhale here, see if you can stretch an inch further. And then exhale, stack the spine up nice and tall at the top. Beautiful. Just going to take a couple nice deep breaths here. You're going to breathe in, reach the hands all the way up high for the sky. And then breathe out, circle them back behind you. Breathe in, send them forward, reach up. Breathe out, circle them back. One more of these. Breathe in, reach forward and up. Breathe out, circle them back and relax, opening up that chest. I hope you feel wonderful after that workout today. I know I sure do. I really need it. Feeling invigorated, ready to take on the day. I can't wait to see you next time on the mat.